Chapter 1887. So, you feel sorry for me? Hui Yanyan asked in a low voice. I don't care if I feel sorry for you or not. You're not doing well right now. Plus you have kids to take care of. I don't know how much you'll get if you come to my place, but at least you'll be better off than you are now. Of course, if you don't feel comfortable living under someone else's roof, just pretend I didn't say anything. I really want to help you. I know. Never mind, I'll think about it. Thank you. Hui Yanyan looked at her watch. I have to go. Huimin nodded. Huimin, thank you. You already said that. Huimin smiled. I'll think about it. Hey, if you need money, just let me know. Of course, I'm just lending it to you. You'll have to pay me back in the future. Huimin knew that Hui Yanyan had a strong sense of self-esteem and didn't want to treat her like a charity giver. I understand. After Hui Yanyan left, Huimin hurried home. At South Hill Manor, it was rare that everyone was there for dinner. Qin Chu sat between the twins and took care of them. Yang Mirong and Jixin sat on the other side. When Huimin came back, it wasn't too late yet. Wow, Mommy is finally back. Are we starving? Little Bean clapped her hands. You guys didn't have to wait for me. Just eat when you're hungry. It's not like I have guests. Huimin smiled. How could we? Mommy, you work so hard to raise our family. You're the biggest contributor. Is it worth it to wait for you? Little Bean began to flatter. Luckily, everyone was used to it. Huimin washed his hands and walked over. Little girl, you're such a sweet talker. How was your golf today? It was great. I even managed to extort a Häagen-Dazs from Uncle Tang. Little Bean smiled in satisfaction. How about you, Pudding? I had a lot of fun too, Mommy. Pudding answered obediently. Honey, when did they come back? They came back at noon. You're so early. You'll be taking care of me this afternoon. Thank you for your hard work. Not at all. My wife works the hardest. Come have a bowl of soup. Qin Chu took the initiative to serve Huimin a bowl of pork trotter soup. When are the two of you going to stop showing off your love? You're torturing a single dog like me. Jixin yelled. If you know you're single, why don't you hurry up and find a girlfriend? Yang Meirong scolded her son. You can't just look for them as you wish. Can't you touch them? It's not easy to find a girlfriend. It's not like you're buying groceries at the market, Jixin retorted. Uncle, don't you have a girlfriend yet? No, which eye of yours keeps telling me that I have a girlfriend? Jixin laughed. Then I saw a box in your room with a woman's necklace inside. What's with that? Qin Mumu, when did you sneak into my room? Jixin was so embarrassed that he was about to go crazy. Pudding interrupted. Uncle, the point isn't when Little Bean entered your room. The point is, what's with your necklace? Jixin, are you in a relationship? Huimin ate a mouthful of rice and looked up at his little brother with a calm expression. Sis, don't listen to their nonsense. My necklace it's a display of GK's jewelry. I just thought it looked good and brought it back to study the design, Jixin answered guiltily. Uncle, if you lie, you'll grow a long nose, Little Bean reminded him. Uncle, I've seen all of GK's products. Yours isn't one. I think you designed it yourself. Are you really not going to tell us the truth? My mommy and daddy are very smart. You better not lie to us. Otherwise, it'll be very awkward if we expose you. Pudding looked at Jixin sympathetically. Are you really in a relationship? Yang Meirong raised her voice and asked. Chapter 1888. Sis, what on earth are these two kids of yours? Did they turn into spirits? Jing Jixin wanted to cry. Hurry up and tell me, don't waste time. Huimin smiled. It's a good thing that Jixin is in a relationship, Qin Chu commented with a straight face. Brother-in-law, why are you adding to the mess? I'm not in a relationship. Really, we haven't even started dating yet, what do you mean? I have a crush at most. The girl doesn't even know about it. Jixin couldn't take the torture and finally confessed. Oh, so it's a crush, Uncle is embarrassed. Little Bean covered her mouth and giggled. Go away, don't add to my mess. Uncle, your president was younger brother after all. You're considered a nouveau riche, okay? If you like a girl, just confess. Why do you have to have a crush on her? That's so low, it's not classy at all. Pudding pouted. It's not as simple as you make it out to be. What if she doesn't agree after I confess? Plus, I think she already has a boyfriend and won't consider me. Jixin was a little discouraged. Jixin, is that girl from our company? Huimin asked. Sis, don't ask, I'm so embarrassed. There's nothing going on. Okay, I won't ask, but Pudding's right. No matter what, you have to confess. How many feelings can you miss if you're not careful? You'll regret it then. I know. I know what I'm doing. The whole family happily teased Jishin during the meal. After dinner, the twins played with their grandmother downstairs. Huamin tiredly went upstairs to take a shower. When she walked out of the study in her bathrobe, she saw Mr. Qin typing seriously in front of the computer. Oh, is Mr. Qin secretly checking my work? Huamin leaned against the door and smiled. No, I took care of all your emails. Wow, that's great. Does that mean I can relax today? Huamin was very touched. Honey, come here. Mr. Qin waved his hand. Huamin shyly walked over. Then Mr. Qin picked her up and placed her on his lap. This position was very intimate and ambiguous. Hubby, is your leg okay? Huamin was a little worried. Which leg are you asking? Qin Chu's voice was full of magic. You're so dirty. Huamin instantly felt his cheeks burning. Honey, I meant to ask if it's the left leg or the right leg. Are you thinking too much again? You're so mean. Huamin turned around and punched Qin Chu on the shoulder. He took the opportunity to hold her little hand tightly. Did you miss me today? Huamin nodded shyly. What are you thinking? Everywhere. Huamin pursed his lips and answered. Qin Chu placed his finger on her chest and tapped it a few times. Is it here? Huamin felt like his brain had short-circuited. Or here. Mr. Qin's hand slid down. Huamin felt as if his entire body was electrocuted and trembled slightly. Hubby, are you in heat? Qin Chu, honey, your husband is a normal man, that's all. Qin Chu was so angry that he laughed. It was rare for the two of them to be so intimate. They didn't even have to talk about the kids or work. It was so relaxing. Before Huamin could think, Qin Chu leaned over and kissed her soft lips. Huamin gently closed his eyes and enjoyed this beautiful moment. The kiss was so lingering that Huamin almost forgot that she was in the study. When she came back to her senses, Mr. Qin had already taken off half of her bathrobe, and she was completely naked. President Hua, can I continue? Qin Chu had a naughty smile on his face. Chapter 1889. Do as you please, President Qin. Huamin smiled seductively. If that's the case, then I won't hold back. Qin Chu's eyes were suddenly filled with desire and mystery. It swept over Huamin like a storm. After the pleasure, she felt as if all her energy had been sucked out of her body. In the end, it was Qin Chu who carried her back home. Qin Chu walked very slowly because his leg was injured. However, he didn't want Huamin to worry, so even though his right knee started to hurt, his expression was still calm. Inside the master bedroom, Huamin lay in Qin Chu's arms, feeling extremely relaxed. Qin Chu patiently stroked her long, messy hair. Alright, I almost forgot. I bought you a present, honey. Huamin quickly got up and picked up the paper bag beside her. A present? Why would you give me a present out of the blue? Qin Chu asked. I just gave it to you because I wanted to. Why do you have to ask so many questions? Honey, do you want something from me? Qin Chu teased her on purpose. Well, if you still want it, I don't mind doing it again when I'm tired. I really don't want it, I don't want it that way. Huamin hid her face under the blanket. Mr. Qin's teasing made her look like an ostrich. I'm just teasing you, good girl. Qin Chu said as he opened the bag. Inside the bag was a belt from a famous luxury brand. It was very classy and the black pattern was very dark and low-key. It was completely in line with Qin Chu's personality. It's very beautiful, I love it. Thank you, honey. Qin Chu lowered his head and gently kissed Huamin's forehead. Huamin's heart instantly felt sweet. I'm glad you like it. What day is it today? Qin Chu asked. Well, then why did you suddenly give me a gift? Qin Chu was still worried. Because I heard that giving the man you love a belt will tie him to your side forever. That way you won't be separated from me anymore. Qin Chu, I really can't bear to be separated from you anymore. After saying that, Huamin threw herself into Qin Chu's arms, seemingly feeling very insecure. Qin Chu felt a sharp pain in his chest. He had overestimated Huamin. No matter how mature and calm she was still a girl. She would still be afraid and insecure. Honey, I'm sorry. I won't do it again, unless I'm really dead, otherwise. Qin Chu didn't finish his sentence. She was blocked by Huamin. I won't allow you to say anything inauspicious. You have to live to 100 years old. We both have to live to 100 years old. Then when we're too old to walk, you can still look at me tenderly. Finally, we'll leave this world hand in hand. When Huamin said this, she hugged Qin Chu's waist tightly. It was as if she was afraid that he would suddenly disappear. Yes, we'll be together no matter if we live or die. Qin Chu hugged Huamin tightly. His heart was full of love and guilt for missing these few years. Honey, I saw Cici today. She's back. Yes, she's more mature than before. She's also more beautiful. He's still so cute. Yes. Honey, have you been in contact with Rick? Huamin asked. Did Cici ask you to ask? No, Cici never mentioned it. I was the one who asked. I was surprised that they actually stopped contacting each other. It's been more than 3 years. Huamin's words were filled with regret. Rick is very good. I've already seen him in America. Then he knows that you're still alive? Back then he always thought that he caused your death and regretted it. Yes, he's very happy to know that I'm still alive. Then why didn't he come back with you? Huamin was curious. Rick, he won't come back. Qin Chu was a little sad, but Huamin was slightly surprised. Chapter 1890. Rick. A lot of things happened in his family. Yes, it's a long story. Seeing how serious Qin Chu was, Huamin knew that he wasn't exaggerating. Rick and Cici, there's nothing else, Huamin said unwillingly. I don't think so. If you have the chance to have dinner with Cici, talk to her and ask her to forget Rick. They might have had a chance to be together before, but now it's not that I'm pessimistic about them. It's just that with Cici's current situation, it's really unlikely that anything will happen between them. Honey, you're making it sound so mysterious. What's Rick's situation like? Is he in some kind of trouble? Oh, don't think too much. He just has no choice. You'll find out in the future. Don't ask now. It's not that I don't want to tell you, but Rick told me not to let anyone know about his current situation. Compared to before, Rick would rather be the boss of Seductive Fox. It's simpler that way. Okay, I understand. After hearing what Qin Chu said, Huamin didn't dare to ask anymore. However, he still felt sorry for Rick and Cici. They were clearly in love, so why couldn't they be together? Honey, don't worry too much. You've been working all day and you still have time to worry about other people. I also think that I've been a bit of a saint lately, Huamin said coquettishly in Qin Chu's arms. What do you mean? I ran into Hui Yanyan today, and? Huamin sighed and told Qin Chu what happened. In the end, she asked hesitantly, Honey? Do you think I'm meddling in other people's business? The truth is Hui Yanyan and I aren't friends, so I don't have the obligation to help her. She might not even appreciate it, but I know that after being cheated on by a scumbag, she has to raise her young daughter to make a living. I feel really bad. It's normal. You're a mother now as well, and your maternal instincts drive you. Huamin nodded. Yeah. Her baby is only 1 year older than Hui Yanyan, but their lives are worlds apart. I thought Hui Yanyan had finally found her happiness. I didn't expect her to meet a scumbag. Tell me, where did all these scumbags come from? Annoying. Do you think everyone is as lucky as you to have such a wonderful husband? Hey Mr. Qin, you're being narcissistic again. Huamin snickered. The couple fell asleep while talking and laughing. The next morning after the morning meeting, Huamin started to get busy. When he was about to go downstairs at noon, he saw Jiang Shaowei driving over. Bella knew Jiang Shaowei, so she let her in without informing her. On the other hand, Huamin was a little surprised. Dr. Jiang, why are you so free today? I'm looking for you for lunch. Will you do me the honor? Of course. Let's go and have a big meal. Huamin was very happy to see Jiang Shaowei. The two of them went downstairs to a barbecue restaurant near the company. He booked a small private room with tatami mats. You're not busy at the bureau. I'm free today. What about you? I heard you've been busy lately? Huamin nodded furiously. What about Mr. Qin? He's at home taking care of the kids. Really? Are you kidding me? Jiang Shaowei didn't believe it. Really, I'm not lying to you. That's a beautiful scene. I can't believe that the smart, handsome, aloof, and secretly in love with Mr. Qin would stay at home to take care of the twins. Yeah, and the three of them get along very well. All right, I'm really impressed, Jiang Shaowei said, surrendering. I know he just doesn't have enough time to spend with the kids. It's not like he wants to. My husband doesn't have much time either, so he can only spend a limited amount of time with Yunchu. Oh right, I was just about to ask you something. You said on WeChat yesterday that Emo Shui was bailed out? As she was released. The media didn't report it. Did Hua Xiqin bail her out? Didn't he say he didn't care? Huamin looked at Jiang Shaowei curiously. Chapter 1891. It wasn't him. He really didn't care about Emo Shui. Then who bailed her out? That's weird. Huamin was surprised. I'm surprised too, it was Mr. Xiang. Mr. Xiang? Huamin stared at Jiang Shaowei in disbelief. Mian, please don't look at me like that. I'm serious, I'm not joking. The chairman of the Xiang Corporation. If I remember correctly, he's in his 70s. Huamin was surprised. Someone in the bureau told me that he's Emo Shui's VIP guest. I heard that he's her godfather, but I don't know if that's true or not. Emo Shui did attend Mr. Xiang's birthday party last year, and the media reported about it. But because of the Xiang family's influence, no one dared to make a big deal out of it. It seems like Emo Shui was hurt by Hua Xiqin and went to seek refuge with him. If that's the case, then it's a shame. I always thought Emo Shui was a smart person, but I didn't expect her to be involved with the Xiang family. From what I know, the Xiang family has a background in the underworld. They're not as simple as they seem. I also heard that they started their business in the underworld. Later they slowly cleared their name. But now, from the outside, the Xiang family is indeed just an ordinary business family. They have a good relationship with many leaders in the city bureau. I don't understand either. Who cares? Anyway, the Wei family is not allowed to have anything to do with the Xiang family. My father-in-law doesn't seem to like the Xiang family very much. When I occasionally hear him mention them at the dinner table, his words are all derogatory. I don't understand the disputes and grudges between these rich families. Forget it, let's not talk about this. Jiang Shaowei picked up a big piece of barbecued meat and placed it on Huamin's plate. Okay. Huamin nodded. Suddenly she thought of something and looked up at Jiang Shaowei. Slightly, how's your relationship with Wei Ying? It's okay. After all, she's my sister-in-law, so it makes sense. But Wei Ying does have the temper of a spoiled princess. Sometimes I can't cure her. Luckily, we don't live together often, so there won't be any major conflicts. How has she been after she married into the Shen family? Huamin asked softly. Well, how should I put it? It's okay. The boy from the Shen family is introverted and doesn't like to talk. He's also indifferent to Wei Ying. But Wei Ying is willing to marry him. Plus, my father-in-law strongly supports her marriage with the Shen family. So, no one cares about whether the marriage is happy or not. Instead, they care about whether it's stable, Jiang Shaowei analyzed calmly. Yes. Huamin nodded again. What? Do you know something? Mian. Jiang Shaowei was smart enough to know that Huamin wouldn't ask these questions for no reason. Huamin and Hui Yanyan were close, so he didn't want to hide anything from her. Therefore he told her about Hui Yanyan. In the end, Jiang Shaowei sighed and said, if this is true, then we can only blame Ying for being immature. Men always know when to stop, but women are the same. She's too much of a troublemaker. Now she's making Hui Yanyan look like a sensible and understanding young married woman. She's acting like an unreasonable tigress. I don't think young Master Shen is the type to change his mind. Hui Yanyan also doesn't think that she's that attractive. But it's hard to say whether it's fate or misfortune. Anyway, your sister-in-law probably has a lot of opinions about me right now. After all, if I help Hui Yanyan, I'm going against her. She also knows that we're close. If she wants to talk about this with you. Huamin paused deliberately and then looked at Jiang Shaowei, who was sitting across from him. Chapter 1892. I'll pretend I didn't hear anything. You know that I've always been indifferent. I don't meddle in other people's business. Jiang Shaowei smiled. Yes, that's what you said. After dinner with Shaowei, Huamin went back to work. Emo Shui's release on bail surprised her. After all, these were all people who had interacted with her before. It didn't matter if they were friends or foes, their ending was tragic. In the afternoon, Huamin had a meeting to discuss the new real estate development. Bella prepared the documents and followed him into the meeting room. Then Bella quietly walked out and waited outside the door. President Hua is in a meeting. Director Jing. Bella immediately reminded Xixin when she saw him walk over. Oh, I'm not here for my sister. I'm here for you. What is it, Director Jing? Bella was always so cautious and conservative. This is for you. Jixin handed her a delicate handbag. What is this? Bella froze for a second. Your birthday is today, right? I wanted to treat you to dinner, but your boyfriend is coming, so I had to give you a present. You don't have to be so polite. Bella was a bit embarrassed. Take it. We're so close now. You've been taking care of my sister for so long. I'm very grateful. Before Bella could say anything, Jing Jixin stuffed the present into her hands. Then he turned around and left. Hey, Director Jing. Jing Jixin was conflicted. He shouldn't have pursued her after knowing that she had a boyfriend. However, since he already prepared the present, he should give it to her. It was good to be a good colleague and friend. Bella held the paper bag with a complicated expression on her face. When Huomin's meeting ended, it was already 5 p.m. Night came really early in the north wind. At 5 p.m. it was completely dark and nothing could be seen. The lights outside the building flickered. President Hu, I see that you're still busy today. Do you want to work overtime? Bella asked. No, everyone's tired. Just get off work on time. Huomin took out a dark red brocade box and handed it to her. Belle, this is for you. President Hu. Belle was surprised. Happy birthday. Huomin smiled. You still remember? Bella was touched. Ever since she became Huomin's assistant, her boss would always prepare a birthday present for her every year. It had already been 3 years. This year she was so busy that she thought Huomin had forgotten about it. How could I forget? I remember it every year. Open it and take a look. I personally chose the gift. Bella carefully opened the brocade box. Inside was a silver-white brooch in the shape of a swan. It was very beautiful. The eye of the swan was set with a very large and bright diamond, sparkling. Isn't this GK Jewelry's new luxury collection? Oh my god, it's too expensive. President Hua, I don't want it. Bella was shocked. This female brooch was a new design that was released half a month ago. The price of a single piece was more than 40,000, because the diamonds were very expensive and the craftsmanship was very delicate. It's not expensive. You've worked hard for a year. This is nothing. Take it. Under Huomin's insistence, Bella nervously accepted the gift. I was going to treat you to dinner tonight, but Yang said that your boyfriend will be here with you. So I decided to make it up to you another day. Thank you, President Hua. That was my plan, but he's busy today and can't come. I'll eat at home. My parents cooked for me. He's not coming? How can he not come on such an important day? Huomin probed. Chapter 1893. Maybe he's really busy. Bella sounded a little disappointed. Bella, I'm not trying to discourage you, but long-distance relationships are fragile. You're not by his side, so it's hard to imagine what's going on over there. I suggest you carefully consider this relationship and make a plan. After all, you're not a kid anymore. You're a woman who can talk about marriage. Bella and Huomin were about the same age. Since they started working early, they were very mature. Huomin didn't treat her as a subordinate but as a good friend. Other than work, they would occasionally talk to each other. President Hua, I understand what you mean. I'll think about it. That's good. Get off work early. Let's go out together. As Huomin and Bella walked out, all the employees greeted Huomin along the way. Bye, President Hua. See you tomorrow, President Hua. Bella was quite popular and had received many gifts. When she was about to leave with the paper bag in her hand, as she was carrying a paper bag, she inadvertently glanced at a package. This looks familiar. This is from Director Jing. Bella didn't hide it. Oh, my wooden brother actually knows how to give a girl gifts. That's amazing. Huomin chuckled. Just as he finished speaking, Jixin came out of the elevator and walked towards the lobby. I'll take your car home today. Where's your car? Huomin looked at him. My car was sent for maintenance. There were a lot of people waiting in line today, so I didn't get it back yet. You drive then? You sure know how to order people around. I even have to be your free driver after work, Jixin mumbled. Just then Jixin secretly glanced at Bella. It's your birthday today. Didn't your boss give you anything? He did. Bella pursed her lips and smiled. Huomin deliberately teased Jixin and glanced at him. Didn't you give her something too? Of course I did. We're all good colleagues, Jixin explained guiltily. Really? Why didn't you give little Yang a present on his birthday? Aren't you close to him? Isn't that because he's a man? Men don't need gifts on their birthdays. Jishin was being unreasonable. Before Huimin could say anything else, Jishin ran out. Sis, I'm going to get the car. Wait for me at the door. Huimin shook his head, smiled and said goodbye to Bella. On the way back, Jishin drove while Huimin sat beside him. Jishin. Do you like Bella? Huimin asked directly. Jishin was so scared that his hands trembled slightly. Why are you so nervous? Did something happen? Huimin looked at Jishin with a smile. Sis, don't talk nonsense. I'm not talking nonsense. Just tell me the truth. I saw the present you gave her. It's the necklace that Pudding and Little Bean were talking about last night, right? City, you have good taste. What do you mean good taste? She already has a boyfriend. Jishin pursed his lips, unwilling to give up. Hey, you're still denying it. See, you even know that. I bought the present a long time ago. I was going to have dinner with her, but after I found out that she has a boyfriend, I changed my mind. I gave her the present as a good colleague. It's really nothing. As Jishin spoke, he sounded like he was trying to comfort himself. Her boyfriend didn't come today. What? Jishin screeched to a stop on the side of the road. Hey, why did you suddenly stop? Are you trying to scare me? Sis, what did you just say? Why did you suddenly stop the car? No. It's the previous sentence. Her boyfriend didn't come today. You mean Bella's boyfriend didn't come today? Jishin asked excitedly. Chapter 1894. Yeah, I'm guessing something went wrong. Otherwise she would have come. But this is Bella's private matter, so I can't ask. Sis, you can drive back yourself. I have something to do, huh? Before Huimin could say anything, Jishin opened the car door and jumped out. Huimin was dumbfounded. So, my little brother is all grown up? He's abandoning his sister just to chase girls? Huimin wanted to cry. Huimin smiled and got into the driver's seat. Then she drove her beloved Audi R8 and continued on her way. It happened to be rush hour, so they were stuck on the highway. During the break, Huimin picked up her phone and chatted with Lingling on WeChat. She also asked Chinjia how Ni Yang's injury was. Just then, she inadvertently glanced at a black Buick business car behind her from the corner of her eye. She felt like there was a pair of eyes staring at her. She didn't know if she was hallucinating or if it was just a momentary illusion. Huimin put down her phone and frowned slightly. She tilted her head and looked closer. The car behind her immediately rolled up its window so she couldn't see anything. Huimin was a bit confused. When she started the car, she deliberately drove very slowly. She let the cars behind her go first. However, the black Buick business car didn't overtake them. Instead, it followed her not too far away, neither too fast nor too slow. Huimin was even more suspicious. She stepped on the gas and sped up. After getting off the viaduct, they got off the highway and took another route home. Although it was far away, there wasn't a traffic jam. When she entered the highway, she purposely looked back. Luckily, the car didn't continue to follow her. Was I hallucinating? Huimin muttered to herself. Then she continued to drive home, at a fork in the road before the highway entrance. The black Buick was parked there and there were 4 men in black sitting inside. Boss, why didn't we continue to follow them? Bastard Huimin is very smart. If we continue to follow him, we will definitely be discovered. It will be troublesome if we alert him. So what if she's discovered? We can just capture her from here. Rice bucket. Do you think Huimin is that easy to catch? If it was that easy, why did Huasiqian not dare to make a move on her for 3 or 4 years? You guys are really a bunch of simple-minded idiots. The man with the black sunglasses scolded. Boss, I did some research. She used to have a bodyguard called An. He's very powerful and even defeated Huasiqian. But now that guy has returned to Su Yu's side. He's one of Su Yu's men, so when Huimin is alone, we have a good chance of winning. No, I can't take the risk. This time I will not reveal my identity. I want to catch them off guard. Huimin, I will make sure you die a horrible death. The man sneered and took off his sunglasses. Under the sunglasses was a handsome face, but the smile on his face was extremely ferocious. At South Hill Manor, Mommy is back. Little Bean ran over and took the bag from Huimin's hands. Good girl, Little Bean. Daddy, can we eat now? Little Bean asked expectantly. Why do you only care about food? Can you be a little more ambitious? Pudding looked at her little sister indifferently. If I can't even solve the problem of food, how can I be in the mood to think about ambition and burden? So strange. Huamin was already used to the two sisters arguing. Honey, why are you so late today? Was there a traffic jam? Qin Chu looked at his watch and saw that Huamin was 20 minutes later than usual. They had talked on the phone and said that they didn't have to work overtime, so Qin Chu was a little confused. Huamin walked over and intimately held onto Qin Chu's arm. I ran into something strange on my way back. Huamin changed his shoes and slowly walked towards Qin Chu. Chapter 1895. What is it? I feel like someone's following me. Huamin frowned slightly. Following you? Did you see what car it was? Did you write down the license plate number? Qin Chu was very cautious. Yes, I did. There's no problem with the car. It's a local car. But, forget it. Maybe I'm overthinking. I've been working too much lately and I'm just overthinking things. In fact, Huamin had already thought about what Hua Xiqian had said to him before. He said that Huamin and Hua Xiqian were both in trouble. At first, Huamin didn't pay attention to what Hua Xiqian said. Later, he realized that Hua Xiqian wouldn't say something like that for no reason. Could it be that Ian was here? However, Huamin didn't think that someone as powerful as Ian would do something as lowly as stalking someone. However, she didn't tell Qin Chu about it. After all, Qin Chu would be very nervous. Don't be afraid. When you get off work, I've arranged for people to protect you in your car. No one will dare to do anything to you. I promise that if anyone dares to do anything to you, they'll regret it. Qin Chu patted Huamin's head and comforted him. The Qin and Hua family happily ate dinner. At this moment, Hua Xiqian was in a bad mood. He changed into his clothes and went to greet them. Boss, is today a Hongmen banquet? I'm going to see what's going on. Mr. Xiang is really something. He knows that Ms. Mo works for you, but he still did this on purpose. Isn't he slapping you in the face? That old fox Yang Donglai. I know what he's planning. He wants to do me a favor and rope me in. Do you think I'll like him? Do you think he's good enough? Hua Xiqian sneered. Mr. Xiang was indeed a respected elder in the underworld. He continued to engage in illegal activities among the younger generation of the Xiang family. However, because he was secretive about his activities, he had connections with both the underworld and the underworld. Therefore, his life had been smooth sailing over the years. Hua Xiqian didn't have much contact with them, but it was on the surface. Today he suddenly received an invitation to the Xiang family for dinner. This was a little interesting. He also knew that Mo Schweger had been released on bail. Therefore, the situation at the Xiang clan this time was not very clear. Suddenly, the car came to an abrupt halt. Hua Xiqian frowned slightly. What happened? Boss, it's Miss Yan's car. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw Yan Ruoshi getting out of the red BMW sports car willfully. Qian, what is it? Are you going to the Xiang family? Yes. I'll go with you. No need. No, I want to go with you. I heard that old man Xiang saved Mo Shui. I don't want them to gang up on you. Without waiting for Hua Xiqian to reply, Yan Ruoshi got into the car. Then she sat down beside Hua Xiqian and hugged his arm intimately. Ruoshi, don't mess around. I'm going to do business. I know, I just want to be with you. I promise I won't cause any trouble and won't talk, okay? I'll be a quiet girl, okay? Yan Ruoshi whined. Does your dad know you're here? You're using my dad to threaten me again. I don't care. Even if my dad is here, I won't get out of the car. Yan Ruoshi would always throw a tantrum, but Hua Xiqian couldn't do anything about it. In the end, he could only compromise. Drive, he ordered. Yan Ruoshi happily moved closer to Hua Xiqian. The Yan mansion, Mr. Xiang. Mr. Hua is here. Let him in. A white-haired man in his 70s walked downstairs with a cane. Beside him was Mo Shui, who was wearing a red cheongsam. Her hair was styled in a Shanghai bun, and she was dressed very flirtatiously. She didn't look like someone who had just come out of rehab at all. The moment she saw Hua Xiqian, Mo Shui's eyes lit up with flames. Chapter 1896. Nephew Hua Xiqian, please sit down. Mr. Xiang was very polite to Hua Xiqian. Hua Xiqian nodded with a smile. I haven't seen you in a while, Uncle Xiang. How are you? Before Mr. Xiang could say anything, Mo Shui said, of course Godfather is in good health. Otherwise, why would he have the guts to save me? He's not like some heartless person who abandoned me without a care for the debt we owe each other. Shui, don't say that. Come, let's eat. Mr. Xiang patted Emo Shui's hand and walked towards the dining room. When they walked past Hua Xiqian, Emo Shui glanced at Yen Ruoshi with hatred, as if she wanted to kill someone. However, Yen Ruoshi didn't seem to care. She held on to Hua Xiqian's arm and smiled. Nephew Xiqian, this is... Mr. Xiang sat down and looked at Yen Ruoshi. Oh, this is... Before Hua Xiqian could explain, Yen Ruoshi interrupted him. Yen Ruoshi introduced herself. Uncle Xiang, I'm Hua Xiqian's girlfriend Yen Ruoshi. Emo Shuiger immediately said coldly, Godfather, President Hua's girlfriend isn't an ordinary girl. She's Mayor Yan's daughter. Speaking of which, President Hua was also the mayor's daughter when he died. Could it be that he's destined to only be with the mayor's daughter? What do you think, huh? Emo Shuiger's gaze was provocative. Hua Xiqian looked calm and didn't seem angry at Emo Shuiger's words. However, Yen Ruoshi was still young, so she couldn't sit still after hearing Emo Shuiger's words. Miss Emo, you're wrong. Xiqian and I love each other. It has nothing to do with my father's status. I believe he doesn't like me because I'm the mayor's daughter. Haha, really? Then you have to be careful, Ms. Yen. I've asked a fortune teller before. The fortune teller said that President Hua is a jinx to his wife. None of the women around him have a good ending. Song Yisher was one of them, and so am I. So you have to take care of yourself. Emo Shuiger, what are you talking about? Yen Ruoshi was a little angry. She didn't expect Emo Shuiger to curse her in front of everyone. Hua Xiqian stopped Yen Ruoshi, who was about to explode. Ruoshi, calm down. Miss Emo is just joking with you. President Hua knows me better than anyone else. After all, we slept together for so long, we know each other very well. Emo Shuiger smiled coldly. After changing the topic, Mr. Xiang chatted with Hua Xiqian about work. The meal was awkward. Yen Ruoshi didn't even touch a single bite or drink a drop of water. During dinner, Hua Xiqian stood up apologetically. Sorry, I need to go to the washroom. As you wish. Old Xiang smiled. Emo Shuiger stood up as well. Godfather, I want to go too. Yen Ruoshi was about to stand up as well when Mr. Xiang's men stopped her. Ms. Yen, please continue eating. It seemed like Mr. Xiang purposely gave Emo Shuiger a chance to meet Hua Xiqian alone. Although Yen Ruoshi was angry, she didn't say anything. She was afraid that it would affect Hua Xiqian negatively. Inside the spacious washroom on the first floor of the Xiang mansion. As soon as Hua Xiqian walked in, Emo Shuiger pounced on him from behind. Then, it bit down on his shoulder. She was like a lunatic. To her surprise, Hua Xiqian didn't dodge. He didn't move and turned his back to her like a statue. Hua Xiqian, how can you do this to me? I've been by your side all these years and I've done everything for you. How can you not care about me? Emo Shuiger sobbed. Chapter 1897. You're still alive, aren't you? Hua Xiqian's voice was cold. What are you still alive? Let me ask you, if Hua Min was caught, you wouldn't be able to sit still, right? Why are you so cruel to me? Am I worse than a dog in your eyes? Ms. Emo, respect is given, not something you want. If you were worthy of respect, you wouldn't have done so many things without self-respect. Then Hua Xiqian slowly turned around, raised his hand and grabbed Emo Shuiger's neck. I remember telling you to keep a low profile. Qin Chu is starting to make a move, but you ignored my words. How am I supposed to save you if you don't listen to me? I've been addicted to drugs for years, you know that. I can't kick it. How was I supposed to know it would be so serious this time? Emo Shuiger was a little guilty. Don't tell me that, it's all excuses. Let me tell you, Emo Shuiger, we have nothing to do with each other anymore. You came out on your own. From now on, whether you fool around with Jiang Yi or suck up to old Xiang, it's your own business. I won't care about you anymore, so don't push your luck and cause trouble for me. Hua Xiqian, do you really think I can't live without you? Emo Shuiger sneered. Hua Xiqian didn't say anything. His expression was cold. Are you treating me like this because you want to suck up to Mayor Yen? Is that why you're doing this to that brat from the Yen family? Emo Shuiger asked. It has nothing to do with her. Do you think I still need to suck up to Mayor Yen? You're underestimating me. Hua Xiqian, we've been together for so many years, I don't believe you can really let go. I want an explanation. There's no explanation, it's just like what you saw. I'm not going to care about you anymore. You deserve it. Emo Shuiger felt a chill in her heart when she thought about the announcement that they were no longer together. When she was in prison, she always thought that Hua Xiqian wouldn't leave her alone. At least she had worked hard for him all these years, even if she didn't do anything for him. Unfortunately, after so long, all she got was Hua Xiqian standing aside and doing nothing. That's why she used her connections to contact Mr. Xiang and asked him to protect her. The Xiang family's help Hua Mian. As soon as she came out, the first thing she wanted to do was stab Hua Xiqian to death. However, when she saw him today, she was a bitch. Not only did she not have the heart to attack him, but she also wanted to return to his side. Hua Xiqian, do we have to be like this? Just because of Hua Min? I realize that you're a different person when it comes to anything related to Hua Min. Is she really that important to you? I don't want to talk to you about this anymore. Just stay in the Xiang family. I'll send you the termination contract later. Consider it my last favor to you. After you take the money and the contract, we don't want to work together anymore. I'll ask the company to make a statement and the media will report it. Whatever you want to do in the future is up to you. Hua Xiqian straightened his collar, turned around and walked out. He felt like he had nothing to say to this crazy woman. Take a guess, if I went to Qin Chu and helped him testify against you for killing Song Yisher, would you still be able to live as freely as you are now? Mo Schweger laughed maniacally. Before Hua Xiqian could respond, Mo Schweger laughed again. Wang Shasha's death was also your doing. You're crazy. How could you kill someone who's sleeping with you? You even let her go when she's pregnant with your child. Hua Xiqian, you've killed so many people. You're a complete animal. You're an angel to Hua Min, but to us you're a demon. Hua Xiqian stopped in his tracks. He turned around and glanced at Mo Schweger's face with a cold gaze. Chapter 1898. If you want to side with Qin Chu, go ahead. But I promise you you'll end up worse than Song Yisher. After speaking, Hua Xiqian left without looking back. Mo Schweger's expression was extremely ugly. Shortly after returning to his seat, Hua Xiqian stood up and said goodbye. He left the Xiang mansion with Yan Ruoshi. Shui, are you okay? Godfather, I'm fine. You've seen him, what are you going to do from now on? Mr. Xiang looked at Mo Schweig. What else can I do? He's so heartless, I can't continue to be an idiot. If he wants to terminate my contract, so be it. I'm like a rat on the street, I want to be hated by everyone. But I'm not in a hurry to deal with Hua Xiqian. I need to deal with that bitch Jian Tong. She pretended to be a white lotus when I was exposed to negative news. Disgusting. After Mo Schweger came out, she had completely turned into a person with a dark heart. She thought of everyone as evil and her heart was filled with nothing but hatred. That night, a long piece of news went viral on the forum. It talked about Jian Tong's scandals before she became famous. For example, she cheated on her boyfriend in high school and had an abortion in high school. It was also said that she had an affair with a gym teacher in high school. Instantly, it caused a huge commotion. After all, Jian Tong was a celebrity. This kind of negative news was exposed, and it was said that it was exposed by a classmate. Imperial Star's public relations team was caught off guard. That night, when Suyu came back from his business trip, he found out about this and immediately went back to the company to deal with it. Imperial Star sent a lawyer's letter to sue the so-called informant for defamation. After work, Suyu walked out of the office. Jian Tong walked over with her assistant, her eyes red and swollen from crying. President Su. Suyu looked at her without saying anything. President Su, don't tell me you don't believe me. Those aren't true, they're all slandering me. It's obvious that someone is trying to slander me. I know, Suyu said faintly. In the outside world, Suyu and Jian Tong were still dating, so Jian Tong was very worried. After this matter was exposed, she was worried that Suyu would dump her immediately. President Su. Miss Yiling is in a bad mood. She hasn't eaten anything all day. Please comfort her. At this time, the media and paparazzi must be blocking the entrance of the company. It all depends on your attitude. You have to help Miss Yiling. The assistant begged Suyu like a lackey. I can't not eat. I haven't eaten either. Let's go and have something to eat. After that, Suyu walked in front, and Jian Tong immediately followed with a satisfied smile on her face. Then she secretly gave her assistant a look, and the female assistant immediately retreated. As soon as the two of them walked out of the company, they were followed all the way to Heidaleo. Coincidentally, that night the twins complained that they were hungry and wanted to eat hot pot. Hua Min and Qin Chu also brought the twins to Heidaleo. He was right behind Suyu and the others. As soon as Suyu and the others entered, Hua Min and the others arrived. Huh? Isn't that handsome Su's car? Little Bean's eyes were sharp. It's a limited edition Lamborghini Sixth Element. Only Handsome Sue has it in the entire city. It's indeed his car, but I sent him a WeChat message this morning. Didn't he go on a business trip? Why don't we go somewhere else? Otherwise, if he's eating with his friends, it'll be awkward if he sees us. Huamin was more thoughtful. Chapter 1899. Huamin took Qin Chu's feelings into consideration. He also felt that the twins were sick of Suyu. Therefore he didn't want to see Suyu here. Before Qin Chu could say anything, Little Bean immediately said, "Don't change, Mommy. I want to eat here." "Mommy, I want to go in and see Handsome Sue too." Pudding also looked expectant. "Just listen to the kids. We're all friends anyway. It's okay to see each other." Qin Chu smiled. Then he and Huamin each held a kid's hand and walked in. "President Hui, you're here. President Sue and the others are here too." The manager of Haidaleo immediately informed Huamin when he saw him. I know." When they walked in, they saw Suyu and Jian Tong sitting in a quiet corner. Before Huamin could say anything, Little Bean ran over. "Handsome Sue." "Huh? Little Bean, why are you here?" Suyu was surprised to see Little Bean. "My family of 4 is here." Then Little Bean turned around and pointed at her parents and sister behind her. Suyu turned around and was stunned. You're all here?" "The kids want to eat Haidaleo, so we came over," Qin Chu said. "Since we're all here, why don't we all sit together?" Jian Tong stood up and smiled. Although she didn't want to, she still showed enthusiasm on her face. Before Huamin could say anything, Pudding walked over. "Okay, since you're here, let's eat together." Then they sat down on either side of Su. Huamin felt a little awkward. "Come and sit down." "Waiter, bring some menu for President Hua and President Qin," Suyu ordered. "Okay, President Su." 4 adults and 2 children sat together. The atmosphere was very strange. Huamin did not have a good relationship with Jian Tong, and the twins hated her even more. During the dinner, Qin Chu and Suyu chatted casually and talked about the recent stock market. Pudding was playing with her phone when she suddenly interrupted. "Hey Auntie Jian, you're on the news today. You're famous." Jian Tong's expression changed slightly. "I saw it too. It's about Auntie Jian's dark history. I wonder if it's true." Little Bean agreed with her sister. "Of course it's not true. Someone deliberately slandered Auntie. You're still young, you don't understand how complicated the entertainment industry is." Jian Tong continued to smile. "That's true. We're still young, but we know how complicated the entertainment industry is. Auntie Jian Tong, it's not easy for you to survive all these years. You're not a simple person either." Pudding glanced at Jian Tong and said, "Pudding, hurry up and order. You and your sister can order whatever you want to eat." Huamin changed the subject. "Did you guys know that Immerse was released?" Suyu asked. "Yeah, I heard a little bit." Huamin remembered what Jiang Xiaowei told him and nodded. "I just checked the source of the news. It was released by a small newspaper owned by the Xiang family. I suspect it has something to do with Immerse. After all, she's been living with the Xiang family ever since she came out." "That's possible. After all, she's Miss Jian's enemy. Your companies are also competitors, so it's not strange. After what Immerse did to me, I'm not going to let her off the hook." Jian Tong was also furious. Then she glanced at Suyu and felt extremely wronged. "I don't care about the negative news. After all, I've been slandered for years. But I'm really scared that President Su and Imperial Star will be implicated. I really want to take the blame myself." Then Jian Tong's eyes glistened with tears. "Auntie Jian, no wonder you won the Best Actress award," Pudding said. Chapter 1900. Just as everyone was startled by her words, Yizichin suddenly spoke up. Little Bean continued, "As expected of a great actress. I'm impressed." Huamin was speechless. Qin Chu was speechless. Suyu was speechless. "Babies, you two seem to have misunderstood me." Jian Tong looked at the twins with a smile. "It's a serious misunderstanding. After all, we don't know you that well," Pudding said proudly. "Auntie Jian, you like Handsome Sue and so do we. We're rivals in love. So, you can't just call it a misunderstanding." Little Bean's words shocked everyone. Huamin's face completely changed. Jian Tong's face was also extremely ugly. Finally, she couldn't hold it in anymore. No matter how scheming she was, she couldn't stand being provoked by the 2 little guys. "Qin Zhao Zhao, Qin Mumu, Please mind your words. Huamin broke down. Mommy, don't be nervous. We're just joking with Auntie Jian. Yeah, Mommy. After all, we're so close to handsome Su. How can we not like the person he likes? We're just trying to improve our interaction with her. Don't be too nervous. Huamin was speechless. Qin Chu was speechless. But, yeah, I knew they wouldn't embarrass me like this. Su didn't think much of it. He smiled and pinched Little Bean's face and patted Pudding's head. Jian Tong was furious but didn't know how to vent her anger. Finally, she put away her ugly face and forced a smile. You two have a special way of joking. But I like it. If you like it, we'll joke with you often. You have to get used to it. Little Bean made a face at Jian Tong. Sure. You're welcome to harass me. Jian Tong continued to pretend. No matter how angry she was, she told herself that they were just kids. Pudding sat beside Su Yu and pointed at the hot pot. Handsome Su, I want that shrimp roll. Okay. Without hesitation, Handsome Su scooped it out with a small spoon and put it into the pudding bowl. Then she scooped a spoonful for Little Bean and took good care of the two sisters. He didn't even look at Jian Tong. Jian Tong wanted to take the opportunity to complain about being bullied by Mo Shuek since it was a rare opportunity to eat noodles tonight. She wanted to win Su Yu's pity, but her plan was ruined by the twins. During the dinner, Qin Chu received a phone call. He stood up and walked out apologetically. Handsome Su, I want to pee. Little Bean said innocently. Me too, Pudding said. You two are really telepathic. You want to do this together? Su was speechless. Let's go. Mommy will take you there. Huamin stood up. We don't want Mommy to take us. We want Handsome Su to take us. That's not good. Uncle Su is a guy. Su was embarrassed. I told you to wait for us outside the washroom, not to go in. Why are you so nervous? Little Bean retorted. Su was speechless. You guys win. Su couldn't stop laughing. He stood up and picked up the twins, one in each hand. His arms were so strong. He didn't use any strength to pick up the twins. The twins were very coquettish. While Su picked her up, she immediately stole kisses from the handsome guys and kissed Su's cheek. Jian Tong, who wasn't far away, was very angry. At this time, only Huamin and Jian Tong were left at the table. Jian Tong immediately stopped smiling and looked at Huamin sharply. Huamin, what do you want? Why are you asking such a weird question? Huamian was confused. Chapter 1901. Didn't you know that President Su and I are having dinner together? Why did you bring your daughters here to ruin it? Jian Tong was furious. I didn't know that you thought so highly of yourself. Huamin chuckled. What do you mean? We're here because our daughters want to eat hay de leo. It's that simple. You think that we're here to ruin it? Do you think that we're bored? Do you think that our family of 4 has nothing better to do than to eat and sleep at home? That's why we drove all the way to the city for dinner. Also, my daughters may be rude, but they wouldn't go so far as to torture themselves for someone unrelated to them. So Miss Jian, don't think too highly of yourself. Even if you're a famous celebrity, you're nothing to the Qin family. After all, we're not ordinary people. Don't use your celebrity status to oppress others and don't think that you're superior to us. Oh, why do I feel like you don't want Su Yu to be with me? Don't want to? Why would I not want to? Huamin froze. Because there's a type of woman in this world who only wants what's in the pot. Even if she doesn't want her man to pursue her, she still doesn't want him to pursue someone else. Because she enjoys the feeling of being treated like a goddess. Jian Tong stared at Huamin and said word for word. Oh really? I didn't know that there were such shameless women in this world. Miss Jian, you really know a lot about them. Seems like there's someone like that around you. Jian Tong was speechless by Huamin. At this moment, Qin Chu came back from a phone call and sat down beside Huamin. He naturally put one arm around Huamin's shoulder. What's up? Huamin turned around and asked him. Mom and Dad have been missing the kids. I got someone to book the plane tickets for next week. So soon? What about work? Huamin was anxious. Don't worry, Bella and Yang will take care of work. If not, there's still Jixin. Don't worry about it, enjoy your vacation. Okay. Since Mr. Qin has already made the arrangements, I won't say anything else. Huamin smiled happily. Perhaps it was because she was too jealous of Huamin, so every time she saw her smile so contentedly, Jian Tong felt very uncomfortable. President Qin is so good to Mrs. Qin. Qin Chu didn't say anything, nor did he look at Jian Tong. He didn't think that he had anything to do with this woman. But in the years that President Qin was gone, President Hua and Siyu were really close. Everyone said that they were a perfect match. Even I thought that President Hua and Siyu would end up together. Ah, who would have thought? Jian Tong deliberately tried to make Qin Chu feel bad. Both Hua Min and Qin Chu knew what she was trying to do. Outsiders will never understand our family's business, so I won't be surprised no matter what you think. When Qin Chu said this, he still didn't look at Jian Tong. It was as if she didn't exist. Jian Tong's expression was a bit ugly. Just then Siyu and the twins came back. Siyu slowly put the two little girls on the seat. He was also exhausted. Are you tired? Let me wipe your sweat. Jian Tong took out her wet wipes and was about to get up. Pudding took out a piece of tissue and wiped Suyu's sweat. Handsome Su, you must be tired carrying us. When we get home, I'll tell Little Bean to eat less so that she won't be so tired when carrying us next time. I'm only a bit fatter than you. Handsome Su, you don't need a pound or two, right? Pudding pouted and Hua Min and Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. Jian Tong stood there awkwardly and couldn't walk over. The two little guys were much better than she thought. Huh? Auntie Jian, sit down. It's tiring to stand. Sit down, sit down. Little Bean glanced at Jian Tong and said deliberately. Jian Tong pursed her lips and slowly sat down. Auntie Jian, you've been a superstar for so long. I actually have a question for you. Little Bean looked at Jian Tong innocently and asked. Chapter 1902. Okay, go ahead. Jian Tong was so angry that she was about to explode, but she still pretended to be calm on the surface. At least she had to act like a goddess in front of Siyu. I mean, the movie you released a while ago, I saw the reviews say that there's an erotic scene. So when you actors act in a movie, do you make your acting real? As soon as Little Bean finished speaking, Siyu spat out a mouthful of tea. Pudding picked up a tissue and wiped the corner of Suyu's mouth. You're an adult now, why are you still playing with water? Siyu was speechless. Qin Chu was also embarrassed and didn't know what to say. Hua Min covered his face with his hands. He really didn't want to admit that he gave birth to these two little perverts. Jian Tong's face turned green when she heard the question. But she still held it in. Little Bean, you're still young. You can't ask such a deep question. So it's very likely to be true. Wow, Handsome Su is so unfortunate. Doesn't your boyfriend get cheated on all the time? Little Bean deliberately exaggerated. Qin Chu was speechless, Hua Min was speechless. Siyu was speechless. Sis? When we were learning poems from the Tang and Song dynasties, Wang Ongxi wrote a poem. I can't remember it. Little Bean looked at Pudding. Pudding ate a mouthful of vegetables and said calmly, the spring breeze is green on the south bank of the river. When will the moon shine on me? Yes. The spring breeze is green on the south bank of the river. Handsome Su, you're going to be famous. What does that have to do with me? Tiu was completely confused. Hua Min knew that the twins were deliberately teasing Jian Tong and felt that it was a bit too much. He immediately stopped them. You two eat your food obediently. Don't be rude to Auntie Jian Tong. Mommy, don't be nervous. I saw these questions on a certain website. The netizens all said so, Little Bean said innocently. If that's the case, then Pudding, you shouldn't go to the internet to look at those random things in the future. The quality of netizens is very low. You won't learn anything good from them, Jian Tong said with a smile. First, my name is Little Bean, not Pudding. Pudding is there, thank you. Second, although the netizens are sometimes rude, their power is not to be underestimated. If it weren't for their support and comments when your movie was released, you might have lost all your underwear. Water can carry a boat, but it can also capsize it. Auntie Jian heard that you didn't even go to college before your debut. You were at the bottom of the food chain in high school. It's not easy. When you're not filming, I suggest you read more books. It won't hurt. This was the first time Little Bean had ever given such a long speech. Hua Min almost thought that she was possessed by Pudding. She was completely different from her usual cute and obedient self. Jian Tong was criticized by a 3-year-old child for not reading enough. She felt as if 10,000 alpacas were running through her heart, but she didn't dare to get angry. She almost had internal injuries from holding it in. Little Bean, I think you two are almost done eating. Let's go home. Qin Chu felt that if he continued to indulge, Jian Tong might get a heart attack and be hospitalized. If things went wrong, she might die. Therefore, he looked at the time and decided to take his daughters home. Hey Daddy, Chin-chu's words were very intimidating. Little Bean and Pudding both stood up and ran over. They threw themselves into Chin-chu's arms. Seeing this, Suyu felt a little jealous. Chapter 1903. Huamin stood up and put on his jacket. Then we'll leave now. Enjoy your meal. Grandpa misses you so much. Next time when he comes back from Jing City, you guys can have dinner together. Suyu was a bit reluctant to leave. Huamin nodded. By Handsome Su. Handsome Su, remember what I told you, Pudding reminded him. I know, little troublemaker. Suyu smiled. After the family of 4 left, Jian Tong finally let out a sigh of relief. President Su, waiter, the bill please. After Huamin and his family left, Suyu didn't have the appetite to eat anymore. Jian Tong was a bit surprised. She hadn't eaten much yet and the bill was already being paid. I have something to do. I'll leave now. If you haven't finished, you can eat first. No, I want to eat too. Why don't you give me a ride home first? I didn't drive. Jian Tong really wanted to spend more time with Suyu. Then the two of them stood up. President Su, President Qin has already paid. The waiter took out the bill. Suyu glanced at it and nodded. Then he walked out. After Jian Tong got into the car, the two of them left. On the way back, Suyu didn't say much. Jian Tong couldn't help but say, President Su, the twins are pretty funny. Yeah. They're really smart and full of ideas. Speaking of the twins, Suyu was full of pride. It was as if they were his daughters too. Your family likes them a lot, right? Jian Tong asked tentatively. Yeah. My whole family likes them, especially my grandpa. I've never seen him like kids so much. He wasn't even like that when I was young. It's fate. But I think the twins aren't as simple as they seem. What do you want to say? Suyu turned to look at Jian Tong. President Su, don't overthink it. I don't mean anything by it. I just think that they're quite scheming and aren't as innocent as 3-year-old kids. But it makes sense. After all, Huamin is a very scheming person. Huamin isn't a scheming person, she's just a little more mature. The twins inherited their mother's good genes and are born to learn everything quickly. They've already finished middle school. It's nothing strange. You don't know them, so it's normal for you to misunderstand. They're both very innocent and cute. They have all the instincts of a child. Is that so? Jian Tong forced a smile. Don't mind what they said tonight. The two of them can be so ridiculous sometimes. Even Huamin can't do anything to them. I don't mind. After all, they're just kids. I'm just worried. They're still so young. If they act like this when they grow up. I'm afraid they won't be able to do anything about it. That's Huamin's concern. You're overthinking it, Suyu said faintly. His words seemed to be filled with dissatisfaction. Jian Tong saw that Suyu was a little unhappy, so she didn't dare to say more. She just sat quietly in the passenger seat. On the way back, Huamin felt very embarrassed. Although she didn't like Jian Tong, who could stand being insulted by the two little girls like that. Qin Zhao Zhao and Qin Mumu, you two, Mommy, please pass me the potato chip on the front seat, Little Bean interrupted. You still want to eat? Huamin was speechless. I'm just bored and want to pass the time. Pudding, I don't care if Little Bean messes around, but you're her older sister. Mommy, I'm a little tired. I'm going to sleep. Wake me up when you get home. Thank you. Then Pudding leaned back in the seat and closed her eyes. Huamin, Chin-chu, look at your two daughters. Huamin was on the verge of breaking down and vented her anger on Chin-chu. Chapter 1904. Honey, calm down. Mr. Qin looked at Huamian, who was about to go crazy, but he was still able to remain calm. One pretended to eat while the other pretended to sleep. Even Huamin couldn't do anything about it. It was already past 10 p.m. when they got home. Huamin's mother took the twins upstairs to bed while Huamin and Chin-chu were downstairs in the living room planning their trip to the States. Jixin came home at this time. Hey? Brother-in-law, you guys aren't asleep yet? Why are you home so late? Huamin looked up at Jixin. Is it late? It's only 10 p.m. Only 10 p.m.? How many times have you been home after 10 p.m.? Are you having company dinners or meeting clients? Be careful with your answer, I can find out with a quick check, Huamin threatened. Seriously sis, why are you so nosy? Can't I hang out with my college classmates? Are you guys really from college? I'll call Bella and ask her. Huamin picked up his phone. Jishin was so scared that he ran over. Hey, don't call, it's so awkward. Are you really with Bella? Huamin laughed. She was just trying to scare him. She didn't expect Jishin to really be with Bella. I treated Bella to dinner the other night, right? She felt embarrassed, so she treated me back. We went to a farmhouse in the eastern suburbs to eat cooking fish. It was really delicious. I'll take you and brother-in-law there when you're free. Forget it, just eat and drink well. What's the situation with Bella? Sis, what do you mean? Her boyfriend. Huamin supported Jishin's pursuit of Bella, but if Bella had a boyfriend, he would be a third party and it wouldn't be good for her. Her boyfriend cheated on her. They broke up. I knew it. Huamin knew this would happen. That's right, here's your chance. Mr. Qin interrupted. Hee, thank you for your kind words. Jishin was very happy. Come sit down. I have something to tell you. All right. Jishin sat beside Qin Chu. Your sister and I are bringing the child back to America next week to visit my parents. So fast. Jishin was a little surprised. Well, we'll leave it to you to take care of the company. We'll guide you remotely if it's important. Don't worry. And you don't have to worry about that. I have Bella and Yang to help me. Don't worry, brother-in-law. You don't have to worry. It's rare for you to go back home, so you should spend time with your family. Oh, and remember to say hello to your parents for me. Jishin smiled sincerely. Yes. Does Mom know that you guys are leaving? Jishin looked at Huamin. I know. I mentioned it to you the other day. After we leave, you and Mom have to be careful. After all, the people who are spying on us are in the dark while we're in the light. Don't worry, sis. Brother-in-law has arranged for bodyguards when Mom goes grocery shopping. We'll be fine. You've been working so hard for a long time. It's rare for you to have a break. Go and have fun. Jishin was a real caring man who could always warm Huamin's heart. Jishin lovingly patted Jishin's head. Then the couple got up and went upstairs to rest. Inside the Hua mansion, Qian, I saw that you didn't eat much tonight, so I cooked wontons for you. Yen Ruoshi walked over to the study with a bowl of soup. Ruoshi, you should go back first. It's late. I'll get someone to drive you home. I want to stay. No. Why not? Amo shui and stay. Yen Ruoshi was obviously not convinced. I said no means no. Hurry up and leave. Hua Xiqian had been in a bad mood recently and hadn't been sleeping well. He really wasn't in the mood to play with this little girl. Just then his subordinate came in with a report. Boss, there's news. Hua Xiqian glanced at Yen Ruoshi. I'm not leaving. I want to hear it. Hua Xiqian was helpless. He glanced at his subordinate as if to tell him if it wasn't important. His subordinate hesitated for a long time before speaking. I just found out that Miss Hua and her husband booked tickets to the States. The States? Hua Xiqian was surprised. Next week. Chapter 1905. So, should we take action? You can leave now. I'll think about it. Yes, boss. After the man left, Yen Ruoshi walked up to Hua Xiqian excitedly. Qian, you still can't let go of Huamin. It's been so many years. This has nothing to do with you. How can it have nothing to do with me? You like her, but I like you. Qian, the biggest pain in the world is to like someone who doesn't like you back. Tiring. I'm tired, you're tired. He is tired too. Huamin has Qin Chu. The whole world knows this. Why are you so stupid? Why do you have to follow up on their daily lives? Don't you think it's perverted? Hua Xiqian didn't hide anything from Yen Ruoshi, so when she heard that Huamin had to follow up on Hua Xiqian's daily life, she almost broke down. Get out. No, I want to say it. What's so special about Huamin that you like? What are you doing? Yen Ruoshi, shut up and get out of here right now. Hua Xiqian's face turned ugly when he said this. He swore that if Yen Ruoshi's father wasn't the mayor, he would have thrown her out of the building. He wouldn't have been so polite to her. Yen Ruoshi had never seen Hua Xiqian's manic side before. After all, even if he was impatient, he was still polite to her, so she didn't realize the seriousness of the situation. She continued to threaten Hua Xiqian. I'm saying this for your own good. Don't be so ungrateful. Before she could finish her sentence, Hua Xiqian stood up from his seat. He grabbed her hair and dragged her out of the building. His face was gloomy and cold, and his eyes were filled with extreme brutality. Let go, it hurts. Qian, you're hurting me. Yen Ruoshi wasn't prepared at all. Her scalp hurt like crazy, and she was dragged out by Huasiqian like a doll. Then he threw it out onto the floor outside the door. He didn't show any mercy at all. Yenruashi was dizzy from the fall. Drag this woman out. Without my order, don't let me see her again. So, after speaking, Huasiqian locked the door with a bang. Yenruashi's face was drained of all color. Those who were familiar with her walked over sympathetically and helped Yenruashi up. Miss Yen, you should leave quickly. Boss hasn't been in a good mood recently. Huasiqian, does he do this often? Yenruashi was stunned. Not often, but when it really happens we don't dare to mess with them. It's very scary, so don't test the boss's patience, Huasiqian's men said as they helped Yenruashi up and walked downstairs. He seemed like a different person just now, Yenruashi muttered to herself. The subordinate's expression changed slightly, but he didn't say anything. Huamin originally planned to have a family reunion with Lingling and Xiaowei before going to the States. However, Gao Ran was on a business trip and Gao Buyun caught a cold, so the reunion was cancelled. A week later, Qin Chu, Huamin and the twins boarded the plane to the States. It was already December. She had calculated the time accurately. She was going to spend Christmas in America, so she had chosen these few days. Huamin wasn't used to working on his laptop on the long-distance plane. In the end, Qin Chu couldn't stand it anymore. He confiscated the laptop and put a blindfold on Huamin's eyes. Good boy. Leave the work to me. Go to sleep. Your eyes are turning into pandas. Mom and Dad might not even recognize you. Chapter 1906. Huh. Really? Huamin rubbed his eyes nervously. Mommy, you're so naive. You believe everything Daddy says. Pudding couldn't stand it anymore. So, Mommy instantly becomes naive and sweet in front of Daddy, Pudding interrupted. Shut up, you two. Lin Fan shouted. Huamin froze for a second and then obediently listened to Qin Chu. Because it was a long-distance flight, it took a long time. Even the first-class cabin was tiring. The family of four happened to be in the same row and not far from each other. Huamin leaned on Qin Chu's shoulder and was about to fall asleep. Qin Chu, on the other hand, was wearing a white shirt and looking at the documents Huamin had to deal with on his laptop. The twins were very excited. They were 3 years old and their first trip was to the States to visit their grandparents. They were so happy that they could fly. Although they video chatted with their grandparents every day, they were still very excited when they were actually going to see them. The following was the conversation between the two sisters. Pudding, sis, I'm excited. What about you? Pudding, my surname is Qin. Thank you. Pudding, hey, I didn't mean that. Don't find fault with me, okay? You're such a bummer. Pudding, it's your fault that there's a loophole in your question. Pudding, okay. I'm in a good mood today and don't want to argue with you. Look at Daddy. Pudding, so, what do you think of Daddy? Pudding, Daddy is wearing a white shirt and looking so handsome when he's working hard. No wonder people say that men who work hard are the most charming. Pudding, the point is that Daddy is handsome, okay? Even if he smokes, drinks and swears, you'll still think he's handsome. If he's ugly, even if he races, plays basketball or dances, you won't think he's cool. Little Bean, that makes sense. So, the world we came to 3 years ago is a world that only cares about looks. Pudding, yes, and it depends on your dad. Pudding, damn. Then we're the legendary reincarnated ones. We're handsome and have a big boss as our dad. Pudding, and a mother with a high EQ. Little Bean, there's also handsome Sue who's so warm. Well, I suddenly feel so satisfied. So, we must have saved the galaxy in our last life, right? Pudding, something like that. Little Bean, TSK. Perfect. Sis, who do you want to meet the most in the States? Pudding, of course it's your grandparents. Pudding, I still want to see Auntie. Pudding felt a little depressed at the thought of her aunt, Qin Ning. Little Bean, why aren't you talking? Pudding, I was going to introduce Auntie to handsome Sue, but he didn't seem interested even after I mentioned it a few times. He's still with bitch Jen. I'm so sad. Little Bean, hey big sis, why are you still upset? Last week at Heidaleo we almost killed bitch Jen, okay? If it wasn't for the fact that I was afraid of Mommy getting angry, I really wanted to use my ultimate move. Speaking of how she dealt with Jian Tong that day, Little Bean was still very excited. Pudding, forget it, let's not think too much about it. Anyway, handsome Sue won't really like bitch Jian. It doesn't matter if he's not with Auntie, Little Bean, Sis, I think you're thinking too much. The states are so liberal, maybe Auntie is already pregnant before marriage. Pudding, pregnant before marriage. Little Bean, forget it, you might not understand even if I tell you. Stewardess, I'd like a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice, thank you. Little Bean pressed the help button and the stewardess walked over with a smile. Pudding, just drink it. I'll see if you have to pee in the turbulence later. Whether it was going out or at home, Little Bean was always gluttonous. Everyone in the family admired her for this. Little Bean, don't worry. When I got on the plane, Grandma changed me into diapers. I can drink as much juice as I want. Pudding. Chapter 1907. Hee hee, I'm smart, aren't I? Little Bean was impressed by her own wit. Okay, Chin Moo Moo, you win. In the end, the arrogant Pudding lost to the cute Little Bean. Chin Chu was working on the side while eavesdropping on his daughter's conversation. He almost peed himself from laughing. Children's words carry no harm, but, no matter how smart and mature they were, they still had their childish nature. It was a good thing that he tried his best to hold it in. Otherwise, it wouldn't be his cool style to burst out laughing. After a while after dinner, the two little guys finally fell into a deep sleep. Chin Chu got up and gently placed Huamin on the side. Then he asked the stewardess for 2 thin blankets. He covered Pudding and Little Bean. Because the temperature in Hawaii was relatively high, after boarding the plane, the 2 sisters changed into white high socks, a short skirt and a white sailor short-sleeved shirt. Then each of them put on a pair of sunglasses. In addition to their super good looks, no matter where they went, people would definitely turn their heads. Then passers-by would look at their parents' genes and understand why their daughters were so good-looking. When they boarded the plane, they ran into an extremely awkward situation. A few female fans rushed over and blocked Chin Chu's way, insisting that they get his autograph. They said that Chin Chu looked like a Korean superstar. Chin Chu was completely dumbfounded. He was so embarrassed that he almost had cancer. In the end, Huamin reacted quickly and explained that her husband wasn't a Korean superstar. Then she put on a mask and sunglasses for Chin Chu to avoid the harassment. It turned out that being good-looking was really troublesome, especially for men. In comparison, Huamin was much better. She was born delicate and pretty, and in the family of 4 she was the least good-looking. Therefore, not many people turned their heads and no one harassed her. Just thinking about it made him feel rather displeased. Why were her daughters and husband so popular but she wasn't? Chin Chu was the last one to go to bed. After he finished his work and covered his wife and daughters with blankets, it was already late at night. He looked at his wife who was sleeping soundly beside him and his children on the other side, his heart filled with happiness. A few months ago he was still living alone in the States, missing his wife and daughter. Now he was by their side. The greatest happiness in life is to be with your family. Cherish every minute and second you have now. Chin Chu tilted his head and gently kissed Huamin's forehead. Good night, my mean. His voice was as light as a feather as it slowly seeped into Huamin's sweet dreams. She even smiled slightly in her sleep, her face full of happiness. Just like that, the family of 4 spent the entire night on the plane. 10 o'clock the next morning, only then did the family of 4 arrive at the scene. As soon as he stepped out of the departure hall, he saw a grand welcoming team. Chin Ning was wearing light blue denim shorts, a loose white short-sleeved shirt and a pair of brown sunglasses. Behind him were 8 bodyguards in camouflage uniforms. They were very eye-catching. Huamin recognized Chin Ning almost immediately. He hadn't seen her for 4 years. Her hair was still short, but it was a little longer than before. It was the kind of hairstyle that went past the ears. His face was rounder and he looked more mature. The Chin family's genes were excellent. Chin Ning was also a great beauty, the kind that was pleasing to the eye. Big brother. Sis-in-law. Chin Ning waved her hand excitedly. Go. I told you not to come pick me up. It's not like I can't find you. Chin Chu smiled. Ning Ning. Huamin smiled and waved his hand. Oh, is that Auntie? He's so cool. Little Bean took off her sun hat and exclaimed. Auntie and Daddy do look a lot alike. She's a beauty. Pudding was also surprised. Chin Ning was even more beautiful in person than in the photos. Wow. Are those my twin nieces? Chin Ning watched as the 2 little cuties stumbled out. Chin Ning felt like her heart was about to melt. Chapter 1908. Big Bro. Sis-in-law. Qin Ning looked at Qin Chu and Huamin excitedly. Ning, I haven't seen you in a few years. You've gotten prettier, Huamin complimented from the bottom of his heart. She was born into a rich family, but she didn't have the princess syndrome or the temper of a spoiled brat. Qin Chu had mentioned that Qin Ning was the only daughter of his second uncle. She had followed her father into the company at the age of 13 and sat on the board of directors to listen to her father's meetings. Over the years she had been influenced by what she saw and heard. 4 years ago she had just graduated from college and officially entered the family business. Now she was one of the top executives of the U.S. headquarters. She was the youngest and only female member of the board of directors. It was obvious that she was smart and intelligent. Therefore Huamin admired this beautiful and strong girl from the bottom of his heart. Not at all. Sis-in-law, you're still getting younger and younger. You're still the same even after giving birth to 2 babies. Qin Ning really liked Huamin. Although they didn't spend a lot of time together, she still felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity when she saw him. Okay, you two stop flattering each other. My daughters will be annoyed if they wait too long, Qin Chu reminded them. Right, let Auntie take a look. Which one is the older one and which one is the younger one? Qin Ning said as she squatted down and looked at the 2 identical babies. Before Huamin could introduce them, Pudding said calmly, the chubbier one is Little Bean and the skinnier one is Pudding. I know. You're Pudding, right? Qin Ning compared the 2 and found that the one who spoke was the skinnier one. Little Bean looked like she was about to break down. My chubbier is only temporary. My sister's arrogant and mean tongue is for life. Little Bean's words made Huamin and Qin Chu laugh uncontrollably. You two are so cute. Come call me Auntie. Qin Ning loved them so much that she pinched their little cheeks and touched their little noses. What's in it for you to call me Auntie? Pudding was witty beyond words. Sis, what are you talking about? Auntie, do you think she's an employee? Come. Let's call them first. When the time comes there will definitely be gifts. Then Little Bean looked at Qin Ning respectfully and said, Hello, Auntie. I'm Little Bean. Hello, Auntie, I'm Pudding. After that, the 2 little guys stretched out their hands at the same time. His meaning was obvious. Bring me the gift. Oh my God. Honey, your daughters are so smart. Huamin had never taught them to say such things. Now that they saw Qin Ning, they had to act cute and ask for gifts. This was a terrible habit. It's okay. I'm used to it. Qin Chu looked calm. But is this really okay? Wouldn't that make me look uncultured? Huamin was a little embarrassed. Qin Chu shook his head. No, she's not an outsider. Ning is a family member. Then Qin Chu added, Little Bean, Pudding, well done. Your auntie is super rich and has a lot of money. You can extort her as much as you want. Big brother. You brought your wife and kids to set me up. Qin Ning didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Luckily she was prepared. Otherwise her nieces would have been disappointed. Qin Ning opened her dark pink Hermes bag and took out 2 beautiful Mickey Mouse wallets. She handed them to the 2 little kids. I heard you 2 are Disney fans. Here, take it. Auntie, you're not so stingy as to only give us wallets, right? Also, they're from Disney. They're not branded, Little Bean pouted. Let's open them first. Pudding was calm. The moment they opened the wallets, they immediately jumped up in joy. Chapter 1909. It turned out that each wallet contained a thick stack of US dollars. The twins knew more than a dozen currencies in circulation around the world. Other than RMB, they were most sensitive to US dollars. 10,000 US dollars each. You can buy whatever you want. Qin Ning smiled. Wow. Thank you, Auntie. I love you so much. Little Bean was overjoyed. She pounced on Qin Ning's face and kissed her. She even imagined that she could buy tons of desserts, cakes and juices with this amount of US dollars. She was so happy. Pudding smiled slightly. She walked over and kissed Qin Ning on the cheek. Thank you, Auntie. Huamin usually gave them pocket money, but it wasn't much. After all, they were still kids. Therefore, they didn't have the freedom to use money. Now that she had 10,000 US dollars, Pudding only had one thought in her mind. She wanted to buy Handsome Sue a present when she went back. A present that she bought herself. Handsome Sue would be very happy then. The twins each had their own plans, but it was obvious that they were very happy. Ming, why did you give them so much? They're still kids. Just give them a few dollars to play with. Huamin thought it was too much. Sis-in-law. Do you think my nieces are little beggars? How could you give them a few dollars? Ah, it's our first time meeting. I can't be so stingy. I want to leave a good impression on them, but that's too much. 20,000 US dollars. It's more than 100,000 renminbi. Huamin was still worried. Qin Chu put his arm around Huamin's waist and comforted him. Honey, you usually give Pudding more than 100,000 renminbi to trade stocks. That's different. Money in the stock market is just numbers. She can manipulate it, but she can't spend it as she pleases. This is cash, it's okay. It's a good opportunity to train their spending skills. You win. With a daddy like you who spoils his daughters so much, what else can I say? Huamin realized that no matter what he said, Qin Chu would always speak up for the twins. In the end he gave up. Qin Ning brought bodyguards and a luxurious motorcade. In order to sit with the twins, she let Qin Chu drive her orange Ferrari. Huamin sat in the front passenger seat and ran at the front of the road. The bodyguard drove a flashy black Mercedes-Benz 450. Qin Ning sat in the back seat between the twins. The three of them chatted happily. If one of you catches a cold, does the other catch a cold too? Qin Ning was curious. Yeah. Little Bean nodded. Well, so there really is the legendary telepathy. Pudding looked at her aunt helplessly. It's a cross-infection. Think about it, we live and eat together every day. She catches a cold, how can I avoid it? Qin Ning. Huh. Auntie, you're so cute. You believe in telepathy? Did you watch too many movies? Little Bean laughed. Qin Ning touched her face awkwardly. What do you two usually learn in kindergarten? We don't go to kindergarten. Mommy hired private tutors. We've already finished middle school, Pudding said calmly as she played with her phone. You finished middle school, but you're only 3 years old. Qin Ning was dumbfounded. It has nothing to do with age. If Mommy didn't worry about us working too hard and overdeveloping our brains, we would have already started high school, Little Bean said proudly. I heard your English is really good and you know many languages. It's not that difficult. I think Chinese is the most difficult language, Little Bean complained. Why? Because there are a lot of strokes. Plus, our ancestors left behind a lot of classical Chinese and 4-character idioms. It's as complicated as it can get. You're right. Qin Ning couldn't stop laughing. Talking to the two of them was really full of surprises. At this moment, Pudding, who was playing with her phone, suddenly looked up at Qin Ning. Auntie, I have a question for you. You have to answer it seriously. Yes, I will, Qin Ning promised and couldn't help but laugh. Do you have a boyfriend? Chapter 1910. Ahem. Pudding. Why are you asking this question? Qin Ning didn't expect to be forced to ask this question by her niece, whom she was meeting for the first time. This was the bottom line that even her dad didn't dare to mention. Of course it's my reason. Just tell me yes or no. No, really? So, you don't even have a romantic partner? Intimate partner? Qin Ning was a little confused by this word. Sis, why are you being so reserved? Just ask Auntie if she has a partner, Little Bean said bluntly. Partner? Qin Ning's face turned red. She wasn't prepared for this at all. Auntie, don't be embarrassed. We know that the States are more open. You grew up here and must be influenced. Even if you don't have a boyfriend, we won't look down on you if you have a partner. After all, the situation is different. Wait a minute. Where did you hear this theory from? Qin Ning's heart was about to break down. So Auntie, don't avoid the question. Do you have a partner or not? Pudding wanted to force Qin Ning's privacy. Yes, Little Bean covered her mouth and answered for Qin Ning. I really don't have one. Qin Ning broke down completely. It's good. Don't be scared. We're just asking. Pudding patted the back of Qin Ning's hand and tried to comfort her. Little Bean, Auntie, you're so beautiful and you're still single. It's a waste of resources. Pudding, Auntie, this is called self-respect, okay? Little Bean, then you're an old lady. Qin Ning. Just then Pudding's phone rang. It was a video call. Pudding looked down and saw the caller ID. She immediately smiled. Then she picked up the call. Hi, Handsome Sue. Handsome Sue, why didn't you call me? Little Bean immediately leaned over and asked. Aren't you two together? Does it matter who I call? Suyu was surprised. It's not the same. You called my sister because you care about her more. You're biased. I'll call you next time. We'll take turns, okay? See you, coaxed Little Bean. Pudding, have you guys arrived? I was worried about you. Yes, I just got off the plane. Are you tired from the long flight? Suyu had just returned to his office after a meeting. She hurriedly picked up her phone and video called the twins. Actually, Suyu was quite upset when he heard that they were going on a trip to America. Ever since the twins were born, they saw each other almost every day. Even after Chin-Chu returned, he would meet the twins for dinner in less than 3 days. He even took them out to play. Now that she had gone on a family trip to America, Suyu felt quite sad that they would not be able to see each other for many days. I'm not tired. Daddy is very attentive. He took care of us and Mommy along the way, Pudding replied. It's good. Are you on your way home now? Yes, Andy came to pick us up. Come, let me introduce you. After speaking, Pudding suddenly picked up her phone and pointed it at Qin Ning. My aunt. Her name is Qin Ning, she introduced with a straight face. This made Qin Ning feel awkward. Hi. Hello, Qin Ning said in fluent Chinese with a slight smile on her face. Hello. Suyu remembered seeing her 4 years ago, but it didn't make much of an impression. Today, after Pudding's introduction, he finally saw that she was a girl who looked similar to Chin-Chu. She was clean and didn't have any heavy makeup on. When she smiled, she had a standard oval face and was very recognizable. Handsome Su, my aunt is very pretty, right? Pudding asked directly. Pudding's words caused the two people in the video to fall into an awkward situation again. Chapter 1911. Why aren't you talking? Did I say something wrong? Pudding pressed. No, you're right, Pudding. See, you said perfunctorily. What's wrong? Pudding didn't give up. Your auntie is pretty. She's pretty, okay? Suyu was speechless. Qin Ning immediately blushed slightly. How could a stranger call her pretty on their first video call? This feeling was really embarrassing. Pudding. That's enough. Don't give your handsome Su a hard time. Qin Ning didn't dare to let Pudding continue. Hey. Since auntie said so, I'll let you go. Pudding finally relented. Before he could say anything, Pudding snatched the phone away from him domineeringly. Handsome, did you miss me? Of course I did. Suyu looked at the chubby Pudding with love in his eyes. Then, do you miss me more or do you miss my sister more? Suyu was speechless. Here it came again. This was a scary question, but he was afraid of answering it. Of course I miss you guys more. But I want you to tell me who you miss more. Pudding was fighting for Suyu's attention. Pudding looked at her proudly. She knew Suyu would answer directly. After all, it wasn't good to offend either of them. Sure enough, Suyu changed the topic. Pudding, Uncle Su has to go out for a bit. It's urgent. I'll text you later. Pa, you and your sister have fun. I'll miss you guys every day. Hey, before Pudding could ask more, Suyu immediately hung up the video call. He only knows how to run away. What a coward. Pudding complained. Pudding didn't want to deal with her sister's nonsense. She turned around and asked Qin Ning, Auntie, Handsome Su was the one who video called us. Do you know who Handsome Su is? I've heard a little about him. He's the president of Imperial Star, right? Yeah, what does he look like? Pudding asked bluntly. It's okay. Qin Ning answered conservatively. Don't you think he's very good looking, doesn't have a good temperament and has good taste in clothes? Qin Ning, Pudding. I'm not familiar with this person, so even if you ask me I can't tell you. It's all right. You'll get used to it in the future. But what do you mean? Qin Ning had a strange feeling. All right, don't think too much about it. By the way, Auntie, are Grandpa and Grandma home? Yeah. They've been waiting for you guys for a long time, especially Grandpa. When he heard that you guys were back, he looked so much better. Second Grandpa is back too? Your second Grandpa is still in a meeting in New York. He'll be back tomorrow. Let me pass. I'll let you see everything. Yes. Along the way, the two little girls kept asking questions and Qin Ning patiently explained everything to the two babies. After driving for more than an hour, the car finally stopped at a private beach. This was a famous area for the rich. It was said that there were many rich Americans and even a few Hollywood stars here. With beautiful scenery all year round, Hawaii was a great place for tourists from all over the world to vacation. The Qin family's mansion was a garden that Qin Ning's father bought years ago. Qin Ning said that the old house was too creepy, so they tore it down and rebuilt it. After spending over 100 million yuan, They finally built this 4-story mansion. Every window was floor to ceiling and every room had the best view of the sea. There was a swimming pool in the front, a garden in the back and an underground garage and bar. It was extremely elegant. After getting out of the car, the group walked in. When they opened the door and walked in, Lady Qin was arranging fruits in the living room. When she heard the door open, she turned her head. Seeing Huimin walk in, Lady Qin's eyes instantly moistened. Chapter 1912. Myung. She hadn't seen Huimin in 4 years. When they were sent away by Rick, Huimin was still in prison, accused of being a murderer. Back then they were almost separated by life and death. Now that things had changed, she felt the excitement and joy of reuniting after so many years. Dad, I'm sorry. I just came to see you guys. Huimin's voice was choked with sobs. After the misunderstanding back then, she treated the 2 elders of the Qin family as filial and considerate as she treated her own biological parents. Qin Chu and Qin Chu didn't treat Huimin badly either. They always thought of her. They didn't expect their family to be separated for 4 years because of unavoidable circumstances. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back. Qin Yuman's eyes were also filled with tears. Is that Grandpa? His look like Dad. Little Bean mumbled behind them. Shut up. Dad looks like Grandpa, okay? Pudding corrected her. What's the difference? They both look alike. Little Bean refused to admit defeat. Of course there's a difference. Would you say that Dad looks like you? Pudding rolled her eyes at Little Bean. Little Bean, hey, it does sound weird. Pudding, Little Bean, come here and greet Grandpa and Grandma. Huimin turned around and waved his hand, beckoning his daughters over. The 2 sisters were very obedient when they put on makeup. They walked forward hand in hand. Then they shouted in unison, "Hello, Grandpa, Grandma." At that moment, Qin Chu and Qin Chu's hearts almost melted. So this is our Little Bean and Pudding. Come on, let Grandma give you a hug. Mrs. Qin was so happy that tears flowed out of her eyes. She was crying tears of joy. Which one is Pudding and which one is Little Bean? Grandpa looked at them for a long time and found that they looked exactly the same. Grandpa, I'm Little Bean. Look carefully, I'm prettier than my sister. Little Bean ran over to Mr. Qin and began to act cute and obedient without any bottom line. Pudding looked at her arrogantly. Will you die if you don't tell the truth? Hey, don't say bad things, it's not good. Grandma is telling you don't talk about death in the future, do you hear me? Lady Qin was more superstitious and couldn't accept that the young man's catchphrase was a joke. It's okay. They're always fighting like this. I'm used to it. Huimin smiled. Quick, the food is ready. Let's eat. Mama Qin held Pudding's hand and walked toward the dining room. Mr. Qin also picked up Little Bean. Dad, let me do it. You're not feeling well. Qin Chu immediately walked over and took his daughter. Mr. Qin had been recuperating ever since his major surgery. It was impossible for him to live a long life, but he was still able to maintain it. That was the best he could do. Ning Ning, is your father coming back today? Mr. Qin asked. Uncle, my father has a meeting today. He should arrive tomorrow afternoon. Great, he's also been talking about seeing children. He's going to have another generation of children, he must love them very much, Mr. Qin said happily. It was obvious that he was very, very happy. Grandpa, do you know what my real name is? Little Bean asked. Do you think Grandpa knows? Haha, I think you know, but you can't remember who's Xiao Xiao and who's Moo. Why wouldn't I remember? Mr. Qin looked at Little Bean, amused. Because you're old and confused. I saw on TV that people get more confused as they get older. Huh. Mr. Qin laughed heartily. Little Bean, don't be rude to Grandpa. Huimin's face darkened. Once Little Bean got excited, she began to talk without thinking and blabbering without thinking. I'm not being rude to Grandpa. I'm just chatting with Grandpa, okay? Little Bean looked wronged and helpless. You call that chatting? Are you trying to trick Grandpa? Pudding calmly glanced at Little Bean's face. Chapter 1913. No way. I like Grandpa so much, how could I lie to him? Sis, don't slander me. Grandpa, don't listen to her. She always has a sour face, it's so annoying. Actually, I'm the one with the best relationships between the 2 of us. Everyone loves me. Everyone loves me. Ha, good. Everyone loves my granddaughters. Flowers bloom when they see them. Mr. Qin couldn't stop smiling at the twins. On the dining table there was a sumptuous spread. They were worried that the twins wouldn't be used to Western food, so they made a lot of Chinese food. It had been a long time since Lady Qin cooked for her hometown. Then Huamin saw the huge plate of crabs, lobsters, abalones and other seafood. His heart immediately warmed up. Mom, thank you for remembering that I love seafood. Huamin was very touched. Don't say thank you. We're family, don't be so polite. Come on, Mion, eat more. Mama Qin kept putting food on Huamin's plate, treating her daughter-in-law very well. They hadn't seen each other for 4 years, nor were they affected by the storms that happened in China. Sis-in-law, eat more. You've been with my brother for so long and this is your first time here. I'm going to take you out to have fun. My brother has been here for a long time and has been to almost every place, but you and the baby are different. You haven't been anywhere yet. Okay. Before Huamin could reply, Little Bean nodded her head eagerly. The atmosphere was very lively as the family ate. Mr. Qin and Mama Qin were worried that their granddaughters wouldn't eat well. They kept putting food on Little Bean's plate, wiping her mouth and even getting her juice. The twins were treated very well. It was rare for Mr. Qin to be so happy, and he even drank a few glasses of red wine with Qin Chu. After a few rounds of drinks, Mr. Qin became more talkative. He held a wine glass and looked at Huamin, slowly saying, Mion, there's something I've always wanted to say to you and now I finally have the chance. Dad, go ahead. Huamin respected Qin Chu's father very much, thinking that he was a great father and elder. He was always reliable and had a good reputation. GK was also one of the top elite corporations in China. It wasn't easy for the old man to get to where he was. Qin Ning, Qin Chu and Mama Qin all looked at the old man. The twins also rolled their eyes as they listened to their grandfather speak. When we parted, we didn't expect to see you again 4 years later. When we heard that you were sentenced to death, we were devastated. We knew that you took on the crime of murder to save Chu. You were pregnant at the time, but we couldn't do anything to help. We let you, a girl, go through so much inhumane pain. The Qin family has done you wrong. Dad, let's not talk about this. The Qin family didn't do anything wrong to me. I volunteered to save Qin Chu. He's my husband, not just anyone. Everything I did was worth it. Plus, I took the blame for him because I knew that Hua Xiqian wouldn't want me to die. He would have thought of a way to save me. Don't blame yourself, Huamin explained patiently. Even so, we also know that it was you who did not abandon Chu when our family was in trouble. You even used your own life to save him. He also risked his life to save me. Dad, life and death aren't important to us anymore. After saying this, Huamin and Qin Chu subconsciously interlocked their fingers under the table. The Su family saved our lives as well. When we get back, we'll have to thank them properly. But you're the biggest hero of the Qin family. Under such circumstances, you were able to save Chu's children and let me see my 2 granddaughters before I die. I can die without regrets. Mian, thank you. After speaking, Mr. Qin stood up and bowed deeply to Huamin. He sincerely thanked her for saving Qin Chu, getting pregnant for Qin Chu, protecting the company for the Qin family, giving birth to the children and raising the twins. At this moment, Huamin was great. Mr. Qin's actions completely shocked Huamin. Chapter 1914. Dad, please don't say that, I don't deserve it. Huamin immediately walked up to Qin Chu and helped him up. No, you deserve my gratitude. Dad, we're a family, thank you is too much. Really, please don't do this, I'll be very sad. Huamin was also a little emotional and tried to persuade Qin Chu's father not to do this. Wow, Grandpa is a little emotional. Little Bean exclaimed. Pup, this is such a touching occasion, please don't say anything, okay? Pudding was speechless. Honey, please talk to Dad, I'm really embarrassed. Huamin turned around and looked at Qin Chu for help. However, Qin Chu also said, Mion, you are indeed the hero of the Qin family. Huamin was furious. She wanted to ask her husband for help, but her husband was on his father's side. Mion, just let your dad talk. He's been sick for so long and hasn't talked so much in a long time. It's rare that he has the mood to talk today. Mama Qin began to wipe away her tears. The atmosphere was so touching and emotional. Qin Ning also looked at Huamin with tears in her eyes. Sis-in-law, I've always been arrogant, I've never really admired anyone. But I really admire you. You went through so much with my brother. You never left him even when everyone thought he was dead. This is the first time I've seen something like this. I used to think that this was only in novels and TV shows. Sis-in-law, you're not that old, you're only in your 20s. You're only calm on the surface, but you must be feeling terrible. I don't know how much you've been through in the past 4 years. I checked your medical records in China. You had severe prenatal depression, didn't you? Were you suicidal at one point? Qin Ning's blabbering left Huamin speechless. It wasn't just awkward. Oh, that's normal, a lot of pregnant women have these emotions. It's because it's their first time giving birth, so they're scared. Huamin explained with a smile, trying to make himself look calm. Man, this is the worst thing I've ever done to you. If something happened to you, I don't think I'd be alive now. Qin Chu knew about this. Of course, Qin Ning told him that at that time he had just had surgery on his leg and couldn't walk properly. On one hand, he wanted to see Huamin so badly that he was going to go crazy. On the other hand, he knew that he would be a burden if he went home like this. A man who couldn't even walk and distract Huamin. Just like that, Qin Chu tortured his heart in pain and struggle again and again. In the end, he's as. However, he also knew that Huamin had been on the brink of death when she was pregnant, so he was really grateful to Su Yu. Without the Su family, Huamin and the twins wouldn't be where they were today. Honey, it's all in the past. Let's not talk about that now. Look, Mom and Dad are crying. Let's talk about something happier. Dad, sit down, we still have a lot of time to talk. Huamin couldn't stop crying, and then he helped Mr. Qin back to his seat. At this moment, Little Bean burst into tears. Little Bean, why are you crying? You scared me. Pudding looked at Little Bean with disdain. Chapter 19:15. Sis, are you an idiot? Can't you tell? When Mommy was pregnant with us, she tried to kill herself. We didn't even get a chance to see the world before we were sent back to the underworld. It was so dangerous. We almost had a brush with death in our mother's womb, Little Bean said jokingly. Huamin, Qin Chu, the problem is, didn't we give birth to them? Mommy didn't do that. Don't worry about these boring things. Boring. Pudding was much calmer than Little Bean. Although she was young, she could tell. For the past 4 years, Mommy's life had been tough. Although she didn't lack money, her body and mind were under a lot of pressure. For some reason, Daddy couldn't go back to be with Mommy. That's enough, Qin Mumu. Stop acting, okay? Eat or I'll take your drumstick away. Huamin threatened. No. Little Bean was so scared that she immediately picked up the drumstick and held it tightly in her hand. Everyone couldn't help but laugh. Mr. Qin's words touched everyone's heart. Qin Ning's words reminded them of the past, making the atmosphere very sad. Fortunately, Huamin was very good at self-regulation. He quickly calmed himself down and helped everyone else calm down. After dinner, the twins were a little sleepy, so Mama Qin took them upstairs to rest. Mr. Qin also took an afternoon nap. Qin Ning took Huamin around the garden and chatted with him. Qin Chu, on the other hand, turned on his laptop in his study and continued to deal with official business at HQ and in China. He gave Huamin a full vacation. In the study, Qin Chu's phone rang. He looked at the caller ID. The number was familiar. Oh. Qin Chu, I'm Su Yu. I know. Mr. Qin was still cold. There's something I need to tell you. Go ahead. As soon as you left, Huasiqian sent someone to follow you. I'm guessing that his people have already arrived in America. You have to be careful over there, especially the twins. Yes, I know. If you need anything, call me at any time, Su Yu said. I will. Thank you. The two men spoke succinctly, but they both knew what each other meant. After Su Yu's men found out about this, he began to feel restless. He was afraid that the twins and Huamin would be in danger. Huasiqian's perverted eyes were fixed on Huamin. Over the past few years, he showed no signs of giving up. After hanging up the phone, Su Yu was still worried and his expression was not very good. President Su, have some water. And came in with a glass of water and placed it on Su Yu's table. And do you think Huamin and the twins will be in danger? They won't. From what I know, Qin Chu is a very careful person. He won't make a mistake like this. After all, he didn't have a chance to do anything here. Now that he's in the States, it's the Qin family's territory. Plus the Rick family is there as well. He won't dare to do anything. I hope so. Although Su Yu said that, he was still worried. Just then someone knocked on his office door. President Su. Jian Tong walked in wearing a wine-red cashmere coat. And knew what was good for him and retreated to the door. Recently, Jian Tong and Su Yu were still very popular. Emo Schweiger's scandals didn't hurt Jian Tong at all. On the other hand, people thought that Su Yu trusted Jian Tong a lot after they were caught eating together. This made her status in Imperial Star rise even higher. Do you need something from me? Su Yu didn't even look up or look at Jian Tong. He was in a bad mood because of Hu Xiqian. You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxiao Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.